What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. A classic comedy film that I have not seen in ages. Ages. It's come up a million times. It's one of the very few Thanksgiving movies that are available. There's a lot more now, I guess, the more contemporary studios understand how profitable it is to have a movie that centers around a holiday. But for the longest time, I could be wrong, but for the longest time, it seems like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was the only one. Of course, a John Hughes movie, pretty much the only person making comedy movies in the 80s. This one in particular came out in 1987. It's got the legends of Steve Martin and John Candy, rest in peace, John Candy, as the lead roles. You got Steve Martin is like a businessman kind of a guy, and he's trying to get home for Thanksgiving. Starts off in a city. I want to say New York, and then he's trying to get home to, I don't know where he lives normally, but let's say Chicago, right? Like a lot of the John Hughes stuff is Chicago based, right? I could be wrong on that too. But so it's him trying to get home for the holidays, and everything goes wrong, right? There's some comedies where the comedy is just everybody is stupid. There's some comedies that are more grounded and true to life. And then there's comedies like this where it's just like you're just laughing at the torture that's going on, that's happening to this main character. It's kind of similar in a lot of ways to what is that one? Meet the Fockers, which I don't even think that's the original name of that movie franchise, but it's kind of a similar movie where everything's going wrong. Like every kind of step of the way goes wrong. And this one is probably the best out of all of them. It does, I forgot how, because I haven't seen this since probably childhood, maybe slightly after childhood, but it's been a long time since I've watched it. And I forgot how much cheese was involved. Like there's some pretty cheese moments in this movie, but it's still okay. I really enjoyed it. I mean, Steve Martin's amazing, and John Candy's amazing. John Candy, of course, always playing kind of the lovable, degenerate, kind of the lovable slob. In this one, he's like a disgusting human, but he's just, he's true. He's honest, and he's lovable. And then you have Steve Martin, who's playing the kind of the angry guy that everything bad is happening to. Now, bad things are also happening to John Candy because they end up teaming up. They're, brought together by the universe, brought these two together because they're both trying to get home. Well, one guy, John Candy's character, is just, he sells shower curtain rings, and he just travels, and he hasn't been home in forever. And I don't even think he's trying to get home. I think he's just trying to go to the next place. They're both trying to get to the same town anyway. And Steve Martin's just trying to get home. And it's crazy. It's crazy not only just it's been forever since I've watched this movie, but just to watch these older comedies through the lens of modern day society. Right? We're living in times where cell phones are ubiquitous. Everybody has a cell phone. Travel in itself is completely different now. We have Uber. Like, we can literally do everything through our phones. We can summon people to pick us up in a wide array of different vehicles, from low-end vehicles to high-end vehicles. You can order it straight from your phone. They'll come pick you up. We have food that can be delivered from anywhere. With like Postmate, you can get airplane tickets through your phone. You could you could do all of these. Your money is through your phone. Like, it's a completely different time we're living, right? So, like, of course, the crazy, the kind of the more painful part of this is that Steve Martin, like, he has a family back home, and he can't talk. Like, every once in a while, you see him kind of sneak away to get to a payphone, which don't exist anymore, to call his family. And it's like the whole time they're just like sitting around. Uh, he's supposed to be on his way. Hopefully, he's not dead. We have no way of knowing if anything is happening. Just hopefully, we'll get a call from Dad today, even though like everything is being canceled and he's on this kind of wild ride to try and get home. Kind of crazy. There's also another scene where Steve Martin's character thinks that John Candy stole his money, and he had $700 in cash in his wallet, right? Because this is the time before predatory banks and credit cards where humans may have a credit card, right? They may have one credit card, maybe a charge card for a department store. But unlike now, where like people have multiple credit cards and are in like crazy amounts of debt because all they do is buy shit on credit, and but no, this was a time where people carried cash. Like, I can't imagine. Like, I would be so nervous carrying around $700 in cash, right? I mean, you have a credit card where you have access to hopefully more than $700, but there's a little bit of protection there. Somebody steals it, it's not your money, so the banks will usually take care of you in that instance if it's a credit card, because somebody stole their money, so they're going to be really. But then if somebody takes your debit card, it's like, woo, fingers crossed that your bank gives a fuck. But yeah, so he's steals, or he had, I should say, $700, and then John Candy's like, listen, I have 200, and he's like says the exact amount of money he has in his wallet, and of course his money is gone, and he's like, lower end of the spectrum, not quite as mover and shaker as Steve Martin's character, so he doesn't have as much money. But even $200 in cash is like, the only reason I would have $200 in cash is if I was going to buy like drugs or something off of Craigslist, like, or maybe a tattoo or something like that. Like, there's like so few reasons I would have $200 in cash. Like, maybe a $200 cashier's check or something like that. But actually having $200 in cash is kind of would be stressful. I'd be stressed out walking around, just losing it, or it's just kind of mentally knowing that you have any kind of amount of money, like, especially if you're carrying large amounts of money, like thousands of dollars. Like, it's almost like carrying around a gun. It's like you're constantly thinking about how much money you have. Unless you're really rich, in which case it doesn't. Having $700 would be laughable for somebody. So I'm sure there's still people out there today, but it's crazy to watch this movie and see how culturally different we've changed. I mean, with technology, how much it's changed, and then also just bad money practices. But there's also some of the humor too, because it's two dudes on this travel, and there's a scene in this where they have to get a motel. And the whole joke is about how these two dudes are going to have to share this small bed. And of course, being the 80s, it's all homophobic humor where they like, they're all nervous about having to share the bed, which I would be I would just probably sleep on the floor. If I was in a hotel situation with somebody and if me and another dude, I mean, maybe we'd just sleep in the bed. I don't know. But like, it wouldn't be as big of a deal as this movie puts it out to be. And then the morning scene where they wake up and they're snuggling each other, and John Candy kisses him on the ear. He's like, "Why'd you kiss me on the ear?" He's like, "Why are you holding my hand?" He's like, and then it's like, "Where is your other hand?" He's like, "Oh, it's between two pillows." And then it wasn't two pillows, it was his butt cheeks, and they both get up like all disgusted, which, yeah, that would be like, even a straight kind of, I'm comfortable with my sexuality. I think sexuality is a giant spectrum, and, there's a lot more gray area, and, whatever. It would still be kind of weird to be waking up next to anybody, dude or chick, that like you weren't intending on, you weren't attracted to, and whatever. Doesn't necessarily hold up. but I enjoyed the movie. Everything else holds up. I love this movie so much. It's so good. And it's a shame that John Candy died so early, because I think he would have been one of those fun. But even the dynamic was very like Laurel and Hardy, or even like Tommy Boy, where Chris Farley kind of almost became the John Candy, and David Spade in a lot of ways like Tommy Boy, where David Spade was kind of the Steve Martin character. Just interesting, but this done even better than that matchup. But I really enjoyed it, so go check it out. I forget, it was like on Amazon or something like that, and I've been looking forward to watching it. It was so much fun to watch it again, and check out Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork over at inspireddisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS. Follow me on social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out.